doing this movie was definitely something I'm so happy I did. I got this opportunity to do exactly what I've always wanted to do, which is comedic acting. So I'm really grateful that I said yes to this project. The movie's been made for like 3 years, but again, no one saw it. And now people get to see me do something different and something that I've always wanted to do. So I'm excited.
So, Kaneez, a huge welcome to ETimes, and we are so happy to have you joining with us today.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited.
So, I watched the trailer of the Shailas, and in that 60 seconds too, there's a lot happening. And there was a line in the trailer: "A good maid is like finding a man in your 40s." So, how do you reflect on that? Have you had a similar experience when you had to search for a house help?
I've had both a similar experience when finding house help and a man. No, it's true. So touch wood, I've had really decent experiences with house help, and also to be honest, as a single person living alone, like finding a house help, it's not as desperate as someone who has children or who's running a full household. Like I can imagine like having a full family and then a maid not coming could be horrible. So for me, like if my maid doesn't come, it's just me cleaning up after myself. So it's not a huge train smash for me. But I can obviously tell, like it's when you've worked your timetable around somebody else doing that work and then they don't come, it throws you off completely.
True.
I can imagine that happening. Yeah. So.
So, I've been reading a bunch of synopsis too because I am really looking forward to the release. I can say it's a satirical take on that conventional yet unaccommodating relationship between the upper class and the domestic help. What do you think will be the biggest takeaway the audience will have?
Oh, wow, there's a lot of stuff. But, I think that that relationship it's so twisted really, because you have this domestic help who lives with you, especially in this dynamic, especially with a lot of affluent families, they have domestic help that lives with them, knows the most intimate parts of their lives or their children's lives. And, it's such they know you and they know your life and they're feeding you and they're looking after you. But yet there's so many boundaries that are kept because of the class and the caste differences. And I've just always been so perplexed by. I remember I had this, like, I knew these people when I was younger, and this little baby was a girl, her nanny was looking after her and feeding her and doing everything for her. But this little girl was not allowed to hug her nanny.
Okay.
Yeah, she wasn't allowed to hug her. And I was like, this woman is basically mothering you and you're not allowed to show affection through a hug. I don't know. I know, I understand there are a lot more nuances to this, but I've always been very perplexed by the distance that's kept, but by the intimacy of everything that they're doing. And also, for a lot of, especially for this character in my movie, that relationship is also a form of companionship for her because she's not because she's lonely and her husband's not around, and so that person also becomes her companion of sorts, but again with those boundaries, and it's very interesting to see that dynamic kind of play out.
So, apart from that, when it comes to acting, since we all know you are the improv queen, so what was your creative process in approaching Lexi? Like, were you spontaneous or you were given a script and you had to follow that?
No. So the script was written and I obviously stuck to the script as much as possible, but my director, Neha Thakkar, really gave me so much room to do my improv. If not in the lines, at least with my acting or my reactions. Improv is in my blood. There's no way I cannot bring it into everything that I do. And I'm also so appreciative of my co-star, Suman Patel, because she had to because she studied acting, and she sticks to her script, and then you have someone who's like improvising all the time. It's difficult sometimes to act opposite an improviser. And, but she did a fantastic job of letting me also explore some comedy through my improv.
So, Kaneez, it's really good to see the kind of stuff and the projects and the shows that you have picked up. And, being in the creative space, and now that you have made a significant mark of yourself, do you have boundaries as in, where to engage and where not to?
Once I remember My therapist gave me some really nice advice, but this was more to like I wasn't sure how to interact with um, an ex-boyfriend of mine, and
Okay.
she said treat him like you would a fan. And I was like,
Okay.
huh. And that's like you can be friendly and nice, but you don't have to engage and feel and give your feelings or take anyone else's emotions or feelings.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can be like I think that is something I'm learning because I tend to engage a lot
Okay.
emotionally with people.
Mm-hmm.
And because it's also part of what I do, like comedy is about like,
Yeah.
trying reaching the truth in a lot of things. So
Yeah.
I'm also learning to protect my emotions in and out
Mm-hmm.
so that I don't keep getting swept away with everybody else's
Mm-hmm. So,
emotions.
does that same thought of yours reflect on the kind of projects that you are choosing now?
As in, yes, I do feel like I do want to start. Yes, there have been projects that I didn't really want to be a part of, but then I did do it anyway. And I'm starting to build confidence where I don't do it. So, because a lot of times I do it because I'm scared.
Okay.
It's out of fear that I'll become irrelevant, or if I don't do this project, no one will want to work with me again. And
Mm-hmm.
so I'm trying to learn that it's okay to say no. It's okay to say no if something doesn't make you feel 100% comfortable, and
Mm-hmm.
that you can apply everywhere.
True.
But yeah. So, but yeah. But I mean, just to sorry, but not to bring it back. But doing this movie was definitely something I'm so happy I did, because I've
Mm-hmm.
always wanted to act, but I never got a chance because I went into this comedy, stand-up comedy, and improv sort of industry, and I got this opportunity to do exactly what I've always wanted to do, which is comedic acting.
Okay,
And
that's
so
nice.
yeah, so I'm really grateful that I said yes to this project.
I know, like, you are one of the
Thank
most
you.
funniest persons out there on screen and acting and being so many characters out there. But seeing you in a film, that is sort of a
I
different feeling
know.
altogether.
I remember even when we made it, the director and creator Neha Thakur, she was also like, I don't like, we're just going to make this, and I was like, okay, and then we'll see where it goes from there. And I never thought, I did never dreamed that it would be picked up by like Voot Select for their film festival,
True.
because short films also, we make short films knowing that it might not go anywhere. Like you'll send them to film festivals and they might get awards or showcase over there, but then after that, where do you see it? And
Nobody.
no one gets to see it. And
Yeah.
so I'm so happy that Voot picked up this
Hmm.
short film, and that it was my short film that they picked up, because the movie's been made for like 3 years, but again, no one saw it.
Yeah.
And now people get to see me do something different and something that I've always wanted to do. So I'm
Mhm.
excited,
So,
yeah, about that.
you are also one of the senior most comics or the artists in the industry. And in our country where this profession has actually been on a rise now, how do you ensure to maintain your individuality?
Yeah, that's such a good question, because I've been going through a phase where, again, you're like, how do I stay relevant? And then what happens when you desperately try to stay relevant is that you try to do what other people are doing because it works. And then you start to notice that everything just becomes one big blob of generic. Like it's all very similar stuff just being repackaged.
Yeah.
And I remember I literally sat with myself last week and I said, Kaneez, you're very unique. You're a unique take. Everyone's very unique, but also don't try to become like everybody else because their numbers are higher, because their views are higher. Don't get caught up in that race.
Mm-hmm.
Like, do things that are distinctly and uniquely you, because in the longer run, that's what will set you apart. Don't get caught up in the rat race. So I've been reminding myself this
Mm-hmm.
constantly, because I feel like the stuff I've been putting out lately has just been very generic.
Mm-hmm.
And so I want to start going back to like like even the General Fund game show that was so uniquely
Yeah.
Kaneez, and I want to start Mujhe Ask Karo. I want to start doing things that are uniquely Kaneez again.
That are more of you and less of
Yes,
being a part of
everybody
the mass.
else.
Yeah.
Exactly. And it's okay if it gets lesser views and followers and numbers, but I can't. It's more fun when I do my unique stuff than trying to meet up to other people's um, images and perception of what comedy is.
So, being an actor, a comedian, as well as a celebrity figure, people are always assessing you,
Right.
looking at your social media constantly, and they say a lot of stuff. So are you a lot careful about what you tweet, post, or talk or rant about?
Definitely. I also feel like I'm like it's the responsible thing to do. Also, is to just to get, because if so many people are watching and listening to you, then it's a responsible thing to not put out just anything. That's my take. I'm not judging anyone who decides to put out anything. But even today, I put out a post and I was a little bit confused about, because I asked a question like, what are the telltale signs of a F boy? Okay.
Yeah,
And
I saw that.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is not an attack on men. Like, I don't want people to think, I just wanted a place for people to just share what they thought on this without attacking anybody.
Yeah.
So, like, I do think, go back and forth and be like, should I put this out? Should I not? Should I put this out? And then sometimes I'll put out something, even though I'm unsure, but like this had such a positive feedback. And I'm surprised there were no men who came on my post and started scolding and shouting and crying. I was like, wow, they let the woman talk. I'm like, well done, guys. Well done for listening.
So, Kaneez,
but yeah, so
is there anything you'd want to say to your younger self when you performed at your first open mic or show, or when you were first recording?
Oh man, I recently watched the pilot show for the week that wasn't in 2006. Oh, God, I looked like such an auntie when I was so much younger. But the thing is, I remember is I wish this sounds so cliche, but I wish I knew how talented I was, and that because it was so much second guessing constantly and just feeling like I wasn't good enough. And I know these are very cliche, but I really wish I was a 21-year-old Kaneez who knew how unique and funny she was. And that, that people did want to that people would appreciate what she had to give. But listen, I don't regret it. I did eventually
hard on
do all of that.
yourself on being way too perfect.
Oh my God, that's a female problem, by the way. We just constantly. Oh, that's another thing. I've just stopped trying to be perfect. I am working on being unique and sticking to my kind of comedy, but I'm not going to try perfect everything, because that means it'll take too long for things to come out.
True.
And in the meantime, then everyone else just gets ahead because you've taken so long to put something out. So yeah, I'm not into perfecting things. I'm into learning on the job, which means I put out and I'm like, okay, that didn't work. I get to just continue. My process is putting out stuff, and that's where I get to eventually, hopefully, perfect something. But not. I'm done trying to get something to be perfect and taking forever to put it out. Sorry, that's. I just wanted to share that.
No, it's a very inspiring thought to put out. So, yes,
put out. Remember, ladies, to put out. All right, remember to.
So, there are so many aspiring actors and comedians, and especially female comedians looking up to you right now. Is there any message for them?
Put out. Remember to put out, ladies. No, it's really just go do. Just don't perfect. Don't try to perfect that set, that joke. Don't try to perfect that piece of content for Instagram. Don't try to perfect whatever it is that you're creating. Just start putting it out there, because it'll take years to perfect something.
True.
And I'm not saying put lower quality stuff out. I'm just saying you're not going to get it to perfect. So at some point, put it out.